Luke John Harrison here. Welcome to episode, I keep getting this wrong, 117 of the Daily Boom. So, sitting here in the calm motherfuckers headquarters, if you will, which is my home, which you're familiar with. Recognize that? Anyway, so today, just a short note about the difference between counselling and mindset. And I think there is a distinct difference between that. Now, I personally have never had counselling, but I've heard from a lot of people who have. And don't get me wrong, there's varying degrees of counselling depending on the counsellor and what the issues are and things like that. And I know it's helped a lot of people. Definitely, no doubt about it. But I've heard a lot of people be very disheartened at the experience and just kind of be left on their own with no follow-up or, they uncover all this dark shit and then they're just kind of left with the notion of being honest, kind of accepting that it happened, and then that's it. It's like, well, where do you go from there? How do you rebuild? How do you progress? As it's all well and good, like having somebody to talk to and getting it out there off your chest, trying to accept it as it was, great starting point. But where do you go from there? And I think that's where mindset comes into play. Because mindset's like, the mind, the brain is a muscle, okay? And it's trained. And it takes a little bit of a daily effort. It's a funny thing that, because we forget about this, we forget that the brain takes, just like the body, we understand that if we're going to work out our body, if we're going to get some muscle, drop some fat, we've got to be consistent in doing that most days, if possible, at least 3-4 times a week. And then you'll get good results. Now, the mindset is exactly the same. You need to be consistent in training the mind and understanding the mind, your own mind, in order for it to work. And so I guess the difference between counselling is usually like a set period of time, from what I gather. I would love to get you guys to comment underneath this and tell me your experiences, right? And inform me if I'm wrong in what I'm saying, right? Because, like I say, I've never been through, I've been offered counselling before when I was going through a troubling past, when I was going through a lot of anxiety and overwhelm. I was offered it, but I didn't take it. But from the people that I've spoken to, I kind of get the general impression that it definitely has its place, but there's very little in terms of follow-up and really getting you to giving you the tools to understand how to understand yourself more. And I think that's the difference. Is you could relate this, I guess, to a lot of sort of quick fixes maybe. Because there's a lot of quick fixes out there which will get you a result and you'll feel better for it. But what when you don't have that accountability anymore? What when you don't have that specific system anymore? What when you don't have the person to talk to anymore? What happens then? Do you just go back to the way things were? Do you just, it's an interesting subject. But I think mindset is everything. Totally. And don't get me wrong, this is not a video that's knocking counselling or counsellors at all. I think they do a fantastic job with a lot of people. But I think there's a difference between the two, and I think I would love to hear from you guys on what you think on this subject and if you've ever had a troubled experience with counselling, if you've ever had a great experience with counselling and how it's really helped you, because I think this would help a lot of people talking about this. And understanding that, there's not one size fits all. There's one size fits one. It's whichever method works for you. If it works, if it makes a difference, awesome. And that's what it's about. It's about finding what works for you. Counselling might not work for one person where mindset, mindfulness, whatever you want to call it, will. Whereas mindfulness might not be a particular good approach for someone straight off. And they might just feel they need somebody to talk to. It'd be interesting to hear your thoughts on this, guys. So I'm going to open up for comments below because I think this will help a lot of people. And I think it'll give you a place, if you have been frustrated in certain aspects, to vent a little bit. And I guarantee you'll not be alone. I think that's what the beautiful thing is about what I do with these daily booms is a lot of the things you relate to. So you understand you're not alone when it comes to a man talking about anxiety, a man talking about failed relationships, a man talking about things he's done in the past that he shouldn't have, that kind of thing. Like, you can relate, and I think it's important for us all to relate to each other. So use this as an open forum to post in the comments below. Have a little chat today about what you thought about counselling, or what you what good you've had, what bad you've had, anything in between. Okay, use it as an open forum. Let's chat, and I'll get involved too. Peace out, my friends. Share this video for anyone that needs to get involved in this conversation. Peace out.